Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is Thursday night. You know how bad I want to say Tuesday? Like, I really want to say welcome to Tuesday Night Live right now, but it's not. It's Thursday, and it is 10 p.m. here on the East Coast and in Florida. It's already dark outside, and it's already past my bedtime. So, welcome to the new time, the new place over here in YouTube land for what we're going to call the Naughty Hour. Yes, as long as I can stay awake and not fall asleep at the desk, we're going to go live for a whole hour. First things first, Blaine is the first one in the house. Y'all already know. Usually it's my boy Scott McNeil, but for those of you who are coming in, Tony B from La Lita Loca is just finishing up his live, so he'll be over in a brief minute. Robin is in the house. Cameron Hawkins, the Moonlight Adventures. What's going on, Josh? What is up? What is up? What is up? Ocean to Ocean, Bruce and Cindy are also in here. They are all the way over on the West Coast, so it is a little bit earlier over there for them. Unfortunately, it's 10 o'clock over here for most of us. But I hope everyone is having a great night. Is everyone enjoying their Thursday, what's left of it? Tomorrow is Friday, and then it is Memorial Day weekend, so I know there's a lot of people who have time off this week and are doing a lot of things. Typically, when I was up north, I would be going to the Jersey Shore. This is the weekend the Jersey Shore officially opens. Everything opens in the Jersey Shore. The boardwalks are vibrant and loud. The smell of cotton candy, popcorn, French fries, pizza, all that filled the air, and screams from kids riding roller coasters. It was a great childhood. Great childhood. What's going on, Doug? I hope everyone's having a great night. I know I am. It's good. It's a good night. It's Thursday. I got 2 more days of work to go, and then I'm off for 2 days. Typically, I get 1 day off, so I can't really argue when I get 2 days off in a row. I take it and I run with it all the way to the bank, and I cash it in. So I'm going to enjoy those 2 days off, pumping out a ton of content, getting a ton of content, edit it, and ready to go and put in the bank. So that way I can just upload it and be done. We had a long weekend last weekend in Canada, and we don't get one this weekend, unfortunately. Well, I mean, you had it last weekend, so now it's our turn to have it. Love the Jersey beaches. Yes, Jersey Shore, it's where I grew up. I was 2 hours from Wildwood, Cape May. So that was the childhood trips every year when we were kids. And then we got into cruising, and y'all know where that's gone. It took off from there. But that's what it is. Anybody got any plans this weekend? Anybody hopping on a cruise? Anything fun? I know I have a meeting tomorrow. I have a Zoom meeting tomorrow at some time. I don't know what time that is, but I know I have a Zoom meeting tomorrow. Other than that, I have nothing else planned. Just get some content done, get everything pumped out and edit it, and that be that. I was over there on Tony's live, and he was talking about his upcoming trip. I really wish I was in Europe right now. I can't wait to get back. He's going over to London and everything, and I can't wait to get back over there. I absolutely enjoyed my time over in England. It's my very first time over in the UK and Europe, and it was an absolute blast, and I cannot wait to get back. Cameron said if he was closer to a port, heck yeah, I would, LOL, but stuck till October. Man, you're not stuck. You're only stuck because you're allowing yourself to be stuck. Scott McNeil, Chuck Spencer in the house. There we go. The mods squad is in the house. Hey, Doug, that's great. No one asked. You need to tell them, like, hey, look, man, Thursday nights at 10 o'clock, the Naughty Cruiser goes live. I cannot do any Zoom meetings on Thursdays at 10 o'clock Eastern. The Naughty Cruiser's live. I have to be there. But for those of you who were interested in the Boats and Bros, I did put out a flyer. So if you haven't seen that, that's out in the Naughty Cruiser group. So make sure you look for that if you're interested in the Boats and Bros 3 next February. And I got a funny story to tell you about that one. Yeah, Doug, tell him you're busy being naughty. Cameron is landlocked because he's got a few days off. Man, listen, don't be booking those long cruises and you won't have to be landlocked like that. Yeah, only 7 p.m. on the West Coast, but it's 10 p.m. over here, Doug. So you need to tell him 10 p.m. on Thursdays, Eastern Standard Time. I cannot be on a Zoom. I have to watch the Naughty Cruiser. So 7 o'clock your time, 10 o'clock my time. Julie in the house. Hey, Julie. How are you doing tonight? So let's talk about that funny story real quick. So now I have a Facebook chat with, Chuck and Scott over there on the wonderful Facebook Messenger, and we were talking about Boats and Bros 3 and trying to figure out when it worked and what trip would be best and what time of the year would be good. And we decided to do a 6-night on the Carnival Vista once she moves over to Port Canaveral in February of 2024. We picked back and forth about dates and did a few things there, and we settled on the 18th of February. Now, mind you, this was like set in stone. We had all this figured out before I even announced the dates. I made the flyer. I sent it to them. Chuck's my spell checker, so sometimes when I work too fast, I don't spell things correctly. I'm horrible when it comes to spelling. I am not going to lie. I'm very bad at spelling. So I send it over there, and Chuck proofreads it. Everything's good. Scott, yep, everything's great. Well, the next day I get a phone call from Scott. He's like, you're not going to believe this, but I'm on a cruise at the same time as the Boats and Bros. He literally gets off on the 17th in Mobile, Alabama. So now he's either going to fly from Mobile to Port Canaveral to make sure he's on the Boats and Bros 3, or he's going to drive from Mobile to Port Canaveral. And I told him, I said, boy, don't you have a calendar? That's what a calendar's for. That's what Shipmate's for. Check your dates, man. Check your dates. But all in good fun, he is going to make it. Doug, I have not checked my email today, so I probably do have it. I just haven't checked it yet. Bruce, Doug is in Canada. And again, if you see me glance into the sides, that's just because I'm checking the monitor. And like I always say, I'm not old, but I can't see little things on little screens. It's little, it's tiny. My MacBook Pro is not. I don't have a big MacBook. I really need a big MacBook, but that's what the external monitor is for. So... Yep, only 540 miles from Mobile to Port Canaveral. We mapped it out. We figured it out. It was like a little under 7 hours. So he's going to make the trip, hop in his new Kia Soul, and just make his way over to Port Canaveral or hop on a plane, whatever he decides. But he's definitely going to make it. He's not missing that. He's been part of the very first two. He's not missing the third one. The third one's going to be bigger. There's a lot more people interested in going and a lot more people already signing up. So that's going to be a big, big trip, the Boats and Bros 3. Put a little soul in it. Yeah, so what does everybody have coming up? I know there's some things coming up. My next one, as of right now, is July. I have a cruise booked in July. No, I'm lying. I'm not going to... Let me not lie. I am looking to take a 3-day out of Port Canaveral next month, so only a few weeks away from that. It's not 100% set in stone, but it's like 95% set in stone that I can take that trip in June. Little 3-day on the Liberty out of Port Canaveral. Just a quick little trip, and that be that. Julie, yes, nice pineapples. Yes, I always represent the pineapples. For those of you who know me, you know I represent the pineapples. I don't represent them in the way that other people think pineapples are represented. I just represent pineapples because I enjoy the pineapple. I find it funny that everyone thinks a pineapple means you are a swing, but no, not me. I just enjoy pineapples. They are a sign of welcome and hospitality, and it's, I just enjoy the pineapples, and I'm a jokester. So once people started, cracking jokes, it was just like off to the races with it. I use them for everything. I constantly give out pineapples. I got everybody on the vloggers cruise that went with us, our whole group. I got everybody pineapple glasses, and it was just a good time. So I have to have the pineapples all the time. Jennifer tries that in the chat. What's going on? Nautical Nurse Nancy. Hey, you fellow naughty. What is going on, girlfriend? I hope you're having a great night over there in Wisconsin. It's 10 o'clock here, and I'm live. It's kind of late. Doug's question was, my question is, can Heather come with me as her casino offer is much better than mine, and mine is 50 for 2, and Kevin with cheers. So listen, me, Scott, and Chuck were talking about this other day. So I am not going to tell females they cannot go on the Boats and Bros cruise. If your +1 is a female, that is perfectly fine. If your spouse is coming or your best friend's coming, that's perfectly fine. just know that the cruise is going to be tendered, or anything that I have planned is going to be geared towards the guys. It's going to be a guys thing. So we don't always do everything together. There are times where everyone goes their own way. It's just what I have done for the last 2 years since the restart. I have taken a guys trip every year. The first year was with Chuck, Scott, and Tony B from Lolita Loco. We went on the Margaritaville at Sea. This year, there was a bunch more of us, and I hope to have a lot more of us next year. So I'm not going to tell anybody that they can't go. If you are interested and you do want to go, by all means, please reach out to me. I'll help you get booked. I'll help you in any way I possibly can, but I'm not going to tell anybody they can't go. She will be happy to be in the casino by herself. Now, listen, there's a lot of us that spend time in the casino, so she won't be alone. The dates for the Boats and Bros are February 18th out of Port Canaveral on the Carnival Vista. It's a 6-night. It goes to Amber Cove, Half Moon Cay, and I want to say Cozumel, but don't quote me on that. I don't have it 100% in front of me right now. But those are the dates. February 18th, 2024, out of Port Canaveral on the Carnival Vista. So this will be my first time on the Vista. I've been on Vista class ships before, but this will be my first time on the Vista. And I've heard so many good things about the Vista from our good friends, Matt and Slinky. It's one of their favorite ships, if not their favorite ship. So I can't wait to get on the Carnival Vista and see what she's all about. But who knows? I might be on the Vista before then, just to check it off the list. But as of right now, that's the plan. Carnival Vista, February 18th, 2024. 6 nights, 3 ports. Yep, Sunday to Saturday. Yeah. Chuck Spencer, I'm not a bro. I mean, listen, you can identify as one of never been the Half Moon Cay. And that's one of the reasons we picked it, because our good friend Joe that always goes with us, he absolutely loves Half Moon Cay. He talks very highly of Half Moon Cay. It's one of his favorite stops. So I'm ready to go enjoy Half Moon Cay. Blaine says he would love to do the Vista. Wife and I are supposed to do the Vista in 2018, but couldn't due to her dad. We have been on the Horizon, so we would be cool to see it. Yeah, and that was the ship I was on. I was on the Horizon. Horizon was actually my second Carnival cruise. My first one was the Mardi Gras. It was the Lolita Loca Halloween group cruise. And then in February, I went on the Horizon. So I like that class of ship, and I had a cove balcony on there, so I really look forward to being on the Vista. I've never been to Half Moon Cay. Nancy is doing the Vista for back-to-back B-Day cruise in April. Out of Port Canaveral. Sounds like there's a cruise that could be crashed. Yeah, Blaine, book it. Book it. Cameron's pushing you. Book it, Blaine. Book it. Look at Cameron. He's trying to get everybody to jump on this Barcelona transatlantic cruise. Man, I so wish. Blaine says, any bros on there going as a single and need a roommate? LOL, no swinging allowed, though. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a couple that are solo. I know there's one guy in the group that was asking Scott if he was in a solo cabin, so he's probably going to be looking for somebody. But there's always going to be somebody. Always going to be somebody that needs a cabin mate. And I know there's a couple guys that don't mind rooming 2 or 3 per room. I know I'm rooming with 2 other dudes in January. Well, like December, January on the Jubilee. It's me, Scott, and Cameron. I don't know how it's going to work, but we're definitely going to make it work. Nancy says, come on, crash my cruise. Crash my cruise. I want to crash a cruise so bad. Now, I'll be honest with you. If I didn't have my cruise booked in July, I would absolutely crash John's Freezer Bagakoff cruise in June, but I have mine scheduled in July. Doug says he snores and he doesn't want to subject anybody else to that. I feel bad for Heather now. Listen, everybody snores. I'm gonna tell you right now, if a person tells you they don't snore, they snore. Every person snores. My mom is very good at that. My mom's like, I don't snore. But then she'll fall asleep on the couch and this is all you'll hear. Mom, you're snoring. Nah, I'm not snoring. Yeah, Mom, you're snoring. April 20th and 28th are the cruises that Nancy's doing, the back-to-backs. Somebody write that down and send it to me in Messenger so that way I can check those out. Julie says she may have to crash it for real. Heather snores louder than he does. Oh, man. Just deep breathing. It's not deep breathing. You might have been able to pull that off when I was a kid, but it's not deep breathing. It is not deep breathing. It's trying to start a lawnmower. A lawnmower that won't go. You just keep pulling a string, and that's all you hear. Bruce with Ocean Travel, hit that thumbs up button, everybody. Yes, if you haven't done so, please go on over and hit that thumbs up button. I know there's a lot of people that aren't on here right now that typically are because we changed times and changed days. But Tony B, once he gets home, he is fully going back to his 9 p.m. time. So I want to get back out of that spot since he is going back into there. And I figured I'd come to Thursdays. And like Nancy said the other day, Naughty Thursday, Naughty Tuesday, Naughty going Tuesday, Naughty going Thursday, both at the same times. And the Naughties have the Tuesdays and Thursdays of the week. Fearless Rambler in the house. What is going on? How are you doing tonight? Earplugs are required when we cruise. For you or for her? Or for the people next door? Because if she snores that loud, then the people in between the little metal walls probably hear the snoring. Both. Both. Now, Scott doesn't snore. He does, but it's not very loud. Scott whistles. He does like this. But I don't have room to talk because I use a CPAP machine. So you really don't hear anything from me. It's just like a little light air, but it is what it is. All in good fun. We are the bread of the naughty sandwich. Yes. Yes, we are. But yes, in June, I do have something planned for the weekend of Father's Day or the weekend after. I'm not 100% sure yet, but I am looking to do a 3-day on the Carnival Liberty, Friday to Monday out of Port Canaveral. Little 3-day. It either goes to Nassau or to Bimini, just to get on another Carnival ship, to check another one off the list, and to add a ship model over in my ship model collection. Hashtag love my CPAP. Now, let me tell you something, Chuck. Let's talk for a second, okay? I have gotten over 6 hours faithfully since April. Not only have I gotten over 6 hours, I've gotten like consistent with a score of 80 and above for like the last 30 days. There might have been like 1 or 2 days where it's been less than 80, but my score has been over 80, and I will not fall asleep without putting that on. Let's just say that. I cannot go to sleep without putting that on. I get excited when it's bedtime and I have to hook up to that machine because I will not go to sleep without that thing on anymore. Blaine said instead of Wedding Crashers, can we get a group called the Cruise Crashers? We can, as long as we leave the word ship out. Because then we'll be the cruise ship crashers, and I don't really want to crash a cruise ship. But yeah, we can do a group cruise called the Cruise Crashers. Let's do it, Blaine. Me and you. Naughty Creative Travel Group Cruise, the Cruise Crashers, 2025. Let's do it. Yeah, it's great numbers, and my sleep has been better. Like, I still wake up. I don't wake up tired, but I found myself to be very yawny. Like, I yawn a lot more throughout the day than I used to. But I'm sleeping good. Like, I'm I still think I'm sleeping the same way I was before, but I'm feeling better. Let's just leave it at that. I'm feeling better. I like using the machine. I don't want to go to sleep without it, and I'm getting good numbers and good scores. So let's just keep going forward and keep striving for that good amount of time and good numbers. The cruise boat crashers. I mean, we could do that too, but Scott, you better copyright that name. Listen, I already have like 12 copyrights out there that I'm trying to get approvals of before I start saying them, because I'm afraid if I say them, they're just going to get snatched up and I'm not going to have the rights to be able to own it anymore. So I'm working on some copyright stuff. Spiker's Crazy Adventures in the house. Hey, everyone. What is going on? What is going on? The group cruise crashers. Now, that's great. Like, we can literally just book other people's group cruises, Blaine, and we can just go and crash their group cruises. That would be a cool thing. And we just get custom t-shirts made. The group cruise crashers. That's a tongue twister. Say that 10 times fast. The group cruise crashers. The group cruise crasher. Cruisers. But that's the plan. That's the plan right now. Quick little 3-day in June. Luminosa in July. Nothing in August. Nothing in September. Booze cruise in October. Jubilee for New Year's Eve. That's the plans right now. That's the plans right now. No, it's not a boat. Okay, so Julie said we cannot use the word boat because it's a ship. So we can't use boat. I don't want to use raft because it's not a raft. Cruise. The group cruise vessel. No, I don't know. I think we're going to stick with what Chuck said. The group cruise crashers. Let's leave the word ship, boat, raft, dinghy, floaty device. Let's leave all those things out. And we'll just go with the group cruise crashers. I'm going to have to make that t-shirt tonight. Ships and bars. Bone Tired Travelers in the house. Pineapple King, you already know. And you see, I got my pineapples right here. This is a fresh shipment from the Dole Company. I picked it up today on my way home from Tampa. I swung right by Tampa Port, and I picked up a whole bunch of Dole pineapples. And no photos of Titanic, please, just saying. Yeah, I don't think I would be... It's funny because, well, the Titanic's not funny. That's awful to think that was funny. That was a tragedy. But it's funny to think like certain things like that. Like people sit here and go, I won't go on a cruise. You've seen what happened at a Titanic? And I'm like, yeah, but technology has come such a far way. And then you see things in the news like Royal Caribbean safety boat capsizes. I'm like, those people might be on to something. Ian, what's going on, man? I hope you're having a great morning over there in Australia. Julia's booking the repositioning of the Venezia in December of 24. Who is coming with me? So you're booking the repositioning from New York to Port Canaveral? That seems like a pretty good cruise. On the celebration right after Lolly Loca Halloween group cruise this year out of Miami. So I booked that cruise as well. So we are doing our first back-to-back. And you got a great ship to do it on. Let me tell you, I love the Carnival celebration. Absolutely love it. It's not just because it's the newest ship. It's not because it's an LNG and it's an XL class ship. It's because they did that ship perfectly. I love the layout. I love where the bars are. You don't feel bottlenecked, unfortunately, like you used to on the Mardi Gras in certain areas. They did a phenomenal job with that ship, and I cannot wait to get on the Jubilee in December. Going well in Melbourne, visiting our son, granddaughter, and daughter-in-law for a few days. That is awesome. Enjoy that family time, Ian. I hope you are healing well. Things take time, so don't be frustrated that it's not going as fast as you want it to, but hopefully everything's healing well and everything is going good. Enjoy that family time, my friend. Cameron's booking it also, Julie. It leaves on his birthday. Oh, that's the one you were trying to get me on, Cameron? That's the one Cameron was trying to get me on. I can't get on that one, unfortunately. That time of the year is not good for me with work. I do work. I work for the post office, so like the middle of November to the end of December is hard to get any time off because that's our busy season. Because of all you people that want to buy presents and ship them out to everyone. No, that's my busy season at work, and it's tough to get off. So they kind of like block those days out, and no one's allowed to get off. And it's over. Yeah, no, definitely not doing that one. It's over my little man's birthday. He'll be 6 this year. I am not going away for his birthday. Off to Thailand next week for 11 days. Now I'm really jealous. I remember you telling me about that cruise. I'm super, super jealous. That's going to be an awesome time. I was looking, I'm not going to lie. I didn't bring it up to Scott yet. So this is going to be the first time he hears it. But the other day I got an email from Holland America through the travel agent website. Like, hey, look, let your, people know that $25 deposits are back. And I'm like, oh man, $25 deposits. So the first thing I did with Holland America was pulled up their Asian itineraries, looked at this Japan itinerary. 14 nights, it comes out to be like $6,400 for 2 people. Really not bad when you're in a balcony, and it comes with your drinks, your gratuities, your Wi-Fi, onboard credit. So it's really not a bad price. But when you factor in the amount that I have to pay to fly round trip from here to Tokyo, and I only have like 9 months, it's a lot of money. Not cruising, staying at the Marriott Beach Club. Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, we were talking about that. Okay. So you're staying at the Marriott because that's when I said I'm a Marriott member. I'm going to have to look into that. It's tough because Asian culture is my favorite. It's my absolute favorite. So I have to get over there like very, very soon. And this itinerary was great. It went to Kobe, Hiroshima. It went to so many different places, and I was like perfect. It only had like 3 sea days total. It overnighted in Kobe, so it was like a great itinerary, but it was a little expensive. Doug, how much is the airfare for me to fly round trip from Tampa to Tokyo? Anytime I've looked, it's been over $3,000-$4,000 a person, and that's for your basic economy. So it's like 26 hours plus a day. So it's super expensive. That's why I was looking at the 22 or 25 day. I'm going to say it was 22 or 25 days out of Australia next year on Carnival. It went to those South Pacific Islands, and then it came up to Alaska and everything. But it was like 11 or 12 days at sea, and then another like 6 days at sea. Larry and Elaine Thomas are going on it. That's the only reason I considered it when Larry brought it up to me. So who knows? It's not out of the, out of the running yet, but it depends. It really depends. I'd rather just go and fly and spend like a week in Japan and then get on a cruise and then fly home like a week after. But we're talking like a whole month worth of travel just to go to Japan. So it's definitely on the bucket list. It's one of those trips that I definitely plan on taking in the future. It's not the near future, unfortunately. Not unless something comes my way and goes, hey, you can get your airfare for $1,500 and get you on this cruise. So it's costing us 1,200 Aussie round trip to fly to Thailand on Singapore Airlines. Now, see, I don't know. That's not bad. Like 1,200 Aussie, that's less for me. So that's really not that bad. Or is that more for me? Either way, 1,200, I don't think that's bad. I think that's less for me. I think the Australian dollar, the American dollar is stronger than the Aussie dollar. But yeah, it's expensive to fly to Japan. It's expensive to fly anywhere. Bali is one of the places I want to go. It's expensive to fly there, but then being there for like 2 weeks or a month is going to be dirt cheap. You can You can live in Bali for like 300 US a month. So it's really not that expensive depending on where you go, where you stay. But I can't see putting out $3,500 for my share of the cruise and then another $3,000-$4,000 for my airfare. We're talking almost $8,000 just for 2 weeks. Now, granted, it's well worth it in my opinion, and I would absolutely put it out, but I'm just not at that place right now in my life where I can just say, okay, here's $8,000. Let's put it out. It's definitely going to happen though. I'll definitely make it. Yeah, so 780 US round trip. I mean, that's not bad. If that's what it would cost me to fly to Tokyo, I'd take that trip in a heartbeat. I would do that in a heartbeat. 65 cents. Yep. So, yeah, 780 US. I would do that in a heartbeat. And I'm very frugal when it comes to flying. Like Scott will tell you, we flew from Barcelona back to the States. It was like $3 something a person. So it was super, super cheap. And it was well worth it. Hello, Tess Alman. How are you doing tonight? But it's well worth it. And if I could get it any cheaper than what they're offering me now, the $25 deposit's great, especially if you're trying to like try out Holland America and you can get on a good quick little 7-day Southern Caribbean or 7-day New England Canada cruise, and it's something that you've been wanting to try out. I don't think the $25 deposit is bad. Even if it's non-refundable, you're at that point you're only losing $25. So a $25 deposit, I don't think that's bad at all. So I was definitely looking at some itineraries with Hol, and I'll probably get on a Holland America in the very near future. I'm still trying to get on Virgin Voyages this year. They sent me a nice little email about some Mediterranean cruises that I'm looking at. So we'll see what happens. Tess is doing great, preparing for a poolside Memorial Day weekend complete with barbecue and Coke floats and some tropical liquor drinks. Also, of course, yes. So enjoy. I still have to work Friday and Saturday, but I am off Sunday and Monday. And my mom is asking me what I'm cooking. And I told her nothing. I wasn't cooking this year. And then I said to her, I was like, well, if you watch my dogs for a weekend in June, I'll cook. So I got me a dog sitter. So if I do decide to jump on a quick little 3-day, I got somebody to watch my dogs. Boat drinks. Yeah, flights are horrible right now. I think it's everywhere. Like anywhere you try and go, flights are going to be a little bit expensive at the moment. Yeah, $700 round trip for Seattle. And that's the one thing I learned. Like with me getting ready to go to Seattle in July, 700, I think it was like 700 and some dollars round trip. But for me and Scott to be able to fly one way from Barcelona, Spain, back to Miami for $700, little over $700, and that was with paying for like better seats on the plane. Like we didn't go as basic as we could have went. If we went as basic as we could have, it would have been like $300 a piece. So it was well worth it to fly back from Europe to the US for less than that. So it wasn't bad, but I've learned since I've been doing a lot more international travel that when I fly over to Europe, flights are costing me less internationally than they are domestically. Now, I've gotten great deals on flights. Like I just went and picked up a ticket for my dad not that long ago to fly from Tampa, Florida to Philadelphia, and it was like $19 for him to fly one way. So you can get some flights that are super, super cheap, but it just depends on where you're going and the time you're going. And for me, the places I'm going and the times I'm going, unfortunately, are when everything's expensive. And enjoy your lunch. I hope you enjoy your family time. Thank you for taking time out of your day to be here and say hi. I appreciate you, man, and enjoy your lunch. Yeah, it's expensive to go to Seattle. It's very expensive to go to Seattle. And I'm very frugal when it comes to certain things. Like I will not If it's going to cost me $20, I'd rather go, no, I'd rather just give me the free seat. I don't want to spend $20 to buy a seat. I don't want to spend $40 to pay for my bag. So I try and cram everything into a backpack so I don't have to pay for it, because I'm paying such a high rate for the flight as it is. I'm paying $300 one way. Like, I should be able to fly with a free bag and a free drink and get my seat for free for $300 one way. Yeah, and you moved your seat. Yeah, you did, without permission. You stole that seat. It is about $310 for me to fly from JFK to Barcelona on tap Portugal. It is actually cheaper doing it this way than flying from Kansas City to Barcelona. I am saving like $200 even booking KC to JFK also. And we had that conversation. I told you to make sure you check it every way you can possibly do it. If you're going to have to fly, like, especially from you're in Kansas City. So no matter what, you're going to have a stop somewhere on the East Coast to get to Barcelona. So I would check JFK. I would check Miami. I would check all the major international airports and see what it would cost for me to fly from Kansas City to those airports and then fly from that airport to my destination, because in the end, you're going to save money. Julie says she wishes the pool there was warmer for this weekend, but it's still freezing. Our pool just started getting warmer here. I've jumped in it a couple times over the last few weeks with the kids. It just started getting a little warmer. But I was in the pool like a month and a half ago, and it was like 30 degrees. Yeah, it was cold. Tessa's flying to Phoenix, staying overnight, and then flying to Seattle the next day, and including the hotel costs, it saved me $35. And I got 2 days. You get to see 2 days earlier. Yeah, it's nuts the way some things work. Looking to fly into Portland, Oregon, or taking the bus or the train up to Seattle. So I'm flying in. It's crazy because the ship leaves on the 27th. So typically for something like this, I would fly in 2 to 3 days before, because there's so much that I want to see and do. I'm only flying in the day before for this cruise. So I really don't have much time. So I'd just rather fly directly into Seattle, enjoy my day in Seattle, and then just get to the ship the next morning. It might be time for me to fly to Europe next spring instead of another cruise. So I don't have anything booked next spring. So my thought with next year is I can fly to Europe, go to Rome, fly to Greece or something like that, and then take 2 back-to-back cruises and do like Greek Isles or the Mediterranean, just do something like that. So I want to do a lot more Europe than Caribbean next year. I just have to figure out how I want to do it. $670 right now from KC to Barcelona, and I can get the flights to New York for $119 on Southwest, then catch an Uber to JFK from LaGuardia. I mean, go for it, brother. It's all worth it if you can save that extra coin, be able to put that money into your travel expenses or back into your pocket. Saves money for drink packages or other more important things. And it's true. It's definitely true. So saving that money is, again, it's the big thing, because you're putting out all this money to get there. You're putting out all this money for the trip. So if you're going to be able to cut your costs with your flights or your hotel, it's a way for you to save some coin. It's a way for you to save that money to put it towards the drink package or put it towards an excursion. And I'm all about that. So the cheapest way possible is the cheapest way possible. The water is 78. Julie, that water is fine for swimming. What? 78 degrees? That water is fine for swimming. I don't even think my pool's that cold or that warm, and I'm in Florida. DFW has nonstop to UK and Europe. So Dallas, Fort Worth. So yeah, I mean, he could even fly into Dallas. So I did that coming home, Doug. So my flight home from Seattle, the day we get off the cruise, is a red eye. It leaves out at midnight and it lands in Tampa at 6 a.m. So I'm going to get off the plane. It's crazy. I'm flying out on the 26th. It's a Wednesday. I get there that Wednesday. I have that whole day there. And then I get on the ship on the 27th. We get off on the 3rd and I fly home midnight that night on the 3rd. It's a Thursday. And then I land in Tampa at 6 in the morning on Friday. And I get off the plane. I go right to work Friday morning. Yeah, the initial jump always is an issue when you jump into the pool. The initial shock of the jump is the cold water, but once you're in it for a few minutes, that all goes away. Yeah, Julie, you're in Ohio. That's what I'm saying. So 78 in Ohio, the water was 78. I mean, that's pretty good for May in Ohio. Yeah, Doug, I really don't. Like I'm pretty bad with it. So Scott will tell you, like, there's been times where we went on a cruise and left out of Port Canaveral, and I've literally have rushed from leaving Port Canaveral because I got to be in at work at like 9:30 in the morning. We literally rushed from Port Canaveral to Tampa. Scott jumped in the driver's seat of my car. I jumped out my car, hopped in my truck, and went to work. And then I met Scott at my house on my break. Like I really don't like missing work. So it's hard because I make very good money doing what I do. So it's going to be hard for me to ever leave my job if the opportunity ever presents itself. So if I can make it to work, I don't work very hard. It's a very good job. It's a very easy job. And if I can get to work on a Friday and not miss that day of work, I'm definitely going to go to work that Friday. And like I said, I work split shifts. So I work from 9:30 in the morning to 11:30 in the morning. And then I'm off from 12 o'clock to 5 o'clock. So if I'm tired, I can just come home and then nap for a few hours before I have to go back to work. Blaine says, I wish I could fly in a good deal flying into Seattle. It's so dang expensive, more than the cruise fare. You would think I could fly from Charleston to Seattle since they both have Boeing planes. Yeah, like, and that's the thing that boggles my mind sometimes is like, do I want to take this trip? Yes, the cruise is very inexpensive, but the airfare is double what I would pay for a cruise. So do I really want to take this trip? And ultimately, the pros are going to weigh out the cons, but you're talking one person to fly to Seattle is like $750, right? And that's economy. So even if you want to upgrade yourself to like business or first class, you're looking into thousands at that point. So if you ever get on a plane for $750 and you booked a cruise for $250, you're like, is it really worth it? For me, in my position and what I'm trying to do, yes, to me, it's worth it. I can, go on an Alaska cruise for pennies on the dollar, but spend $700 on airfare. Doug has never slept on a plane, so it'll be hard for him to go to work. Now, if you were here last week, Doug, you heard me tell you I fall asleep on a plane quick. They come on and do that whole announcement like, yep, take the seatbelt now. And I'm already sleeping. Before we even push back from the gate, start running down the runway, I'm sleeping. I fall asleep on a plane instantly. I would say it would be worth it because it's Alaska. It's on the top of most people's lists and almost a once in a lifetime. Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, can you put a price tag on it? You ultimately can't, right? Because especially if you're on a casino offer like me, like I'm on the Carnival Luminosa with a great casino offer, relatively cheap, like very, very inexpensive. And I think it was like $400 on board credit, $1,000 in the casino, free drinks throughout the whole ship. And it's in a suite. $100 per person, and then $100 turned into onboard credit. So port fees and taxes were the most expensive thing for the whole trip. $700 in airfare really isn't that much. And Scotty had vouchers, so he didn't spend nowhere near as much for airfare. And it just trickles and it rolls into things. So that saves me by not having to spend that much money on the cruise. It saves me money to be able to book excursions or do things like that. But does it counter-react the cost of the airfare? And I believe it does with certain things like that, like especially with Seattle. Now, if we're talking a Caribbean cruise and you're flying from Kansas City to go to Miami on a 7-day Caribbean cruise that you can do any time of the year that you plan on doing, just because I really don't think $750 airfare is worth it. At that point, I'd rather just hop in my car and take the drive and enjoy the trip and the drive. The River Pirate 13, ahoy, mate. I take it for granted that in a little over an hour and a half down the road in 95 in Port Canaveral, Miami is another 2.5 hours. Yeah, and that's the same with me. I'm 40 minutes from Tampa. So, I try and do as much as I possibly can, especially with my local home ports. But certain times out of the year, we really can't do anything here in Tampa. Cameron's transatlantic cruise was a free interior room, so can't complain. And you'll pay for the airfare. And again, to Barcelona is not as expensive as it is to Seattle. So that's the thing. That's where you're weighing your pros and your cons out. You're spending half of the cost to get to Spain as it would for someone to get to Seattle. That's the big thing. Blaine says, I need one of those since I'm a TA, LOL. But had to cancel our transatlantic before the pandemic. Now, Blaine, you owe me a cruise, bro. You were supposed to hold my drone in your truck and everything. No, I'm just kidding. When's your next cruise? Because we definitely got to get on a ship together. We definitely got to meet up. And I don't know. I'm not 100% sure yet if I'm able to make that Gatlinburg meetup. I still have to look at some dates and see if I can't make that work. Yeah, and Julie, that's the thing. Like, I get in, I turn the air on right away. I get in my seat, and I usually book a window seat if I'm traveling by myself, so that way I can be the first one in the seat. I don't have to worry about getting up for anybody, and I can fall right to sleep. If I'm traveling with others, I prefer the aisle seat because it gives me a little bit more room to stretch out. I'm 6'2", so the more room I have, the better it is. But it's hard. Once I'm in that seat, I'm falling asleep. Yeah, you can go to Spain for less than Seattle. Test used points. $300 in October, air to Miami, but only because one way she used points. And I don't think from where you're coming in for $300 to Miami isn't bad. October 2nd to the 8th. We can't wait for Gatlinburg. Yeah, 40% higher than last year. Yeah, and it's, it is what it is. If we want to travel, we're going to spend the amount of money that it's going to cost to travel, right? Like, unless you're going to get in a car and drive to Seattle, I don't know about you. I'm not driving from Florida to Seattle. If I drive from Florida to Seattle, I'm going to get aggravated, stop halfway, and be like, okay, this is now where I live. I am not going any further. I'm not turning around. I'm not going home. I live here in the middle of Utah, nowhere. Like, that's just me. It is what it is. But I got so much stuff that I want to do the day that I get to Seattle. I definitely want to go to Pike Place. I want to hit up Starbucks. You'll end up a Wisconsinite. And that's the thing. Like, I drive for a living, so I don't want to drive 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 miles to get to a cruise ship. Now, not saying I don't, I would never get an RV. I would love the RV life. Like, I've always thought about getting an RV and just driving and homeschooling my kids and just traveling the country and all that. But to drive in an automobile for 3,000, 4,000 miles to get to where I need to get on a cruise ship, yeah, no, I don't want to do that. I used to hate when we would fly down here and visit with my grandparents for a week before our cruise, and we'd have to take the 3, 4, 5 hour drive to get to the cruise port. That used to drive me crazy too. Now, see, Tess, that'd be different. If I had the time off of work or I was retired, I wouldn't mind it at that point. But we're talking about a 34-year-old man with 3 kids. I am not going to be in a car with 3 kids going, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? For 4,000 miles. No way. I took my son with me to the airport on Sunday to pick up a rental car. And he was like, are you there yet? Are you there yet? Are we there yet? And then as we got closer, he's like, okay, I know we're close to the airport. I just seen a plane take off. And I was like, you bored? He's like, yeah. And I said, I told you it wasn't going to be fun. We're just going to pick up a car. I am flying out to Seattle on July 26th. Doug says in October we're flying out of Fort Lauderdale and we'll take an Uber to and from the cruise port in Miami, as it would 100 lets then go into directly. Yeah, and sometimes that's the thing. Like Miami's only, I think it's like 40 minutes from Fort Lauderdale is only 40 minutes from Miami, so it's really not that bad. My first back-to-back, well, side-by-side experience was out of Fort Lauderdale on Princess and then to Miami on the Horizon. Excuse me. But yeah, I got so much planned for when I want to go to Seattle. I don't know if any of you are like true crime fanatics, but like I'm a true crime aficionado. Like if you looked at my YouTube like analytics on what I watch, it would be Lolly DeLoca, true crime, true crime, true crime, true crime, true crime, true crime. So much true crime. So much true crime. So in my head, I'm like, I can go see where Ted Bundy went to school, and I can go see where Gary Ridgway used to work. There's so much true crime stuff. I was looking up true crime tours. Like I'm trying booking back-to-back true crime. That's another tongue twister. True crime tours when I'm out in Seattle. Yeah, Blaine, and that's the truth. They go up because it's like Disney World. Who, people are going to pay. You really have no other choice. Love true crime. That's why I have a degree in criminal justice. And that's like me. Like I'm so, look at Nancy. Plus we have tons of true crime stuff in Wisconsin. Yes. Yeah. There's a lot of crazy people that came out of Wisconsin. Yeah. Wisconsin, Indiana, Seattle. Like there's so much. And it's like, that's constantly what I'm watching on YouTube. So I'll get picked up and I'll be like watching something. Or my dad, he'll be like, dude, you're crazy. Like, you're sick. Like, you watch this stuff? Like, what is wrong with you? Like, it's like a train wreck, man. You can't look away. You constantly have to watch it. Like, true crime's my stuff. Jeffrey's up there. John's up there. We grown crazy. Oh, Nancy. Nancy says we grown crazy. That's great. But, and that's the thing. Like, true crime is like my big thing. So I can tell you about, so much, man. If we had a conversation about things like that, I can give you everything. Nice. That's pretty crazy, Blaine. That's pretty crazy. So they have this. I want to go to this festival they have in the UK. It's called True Crime Con. So it's like Comic-Con, but it's True Crime Con. It happens in the UK every year, and it's going on. I think it's this week it's going on, but it's pretty crazy. Lots of crazy people come from the north because they're shut in all winter. That's why I moved to Florida, so I didn't turn crazy tests. Yeah, I mean, Cameron, what person isn't nuts that does things like that? They're all a little nuts. That's why they do those things. But it's crazy that you don't live far from there. Like that's a little crazy. Pollen getting me. It's been crazy. So my aunt and uncle just moved down, and I was at their house yesterday helping them unload the truck all day. And from all the dust and everything kicking up in the truck, and then all the dirt and pollen, and my allergies have just been all over the place. Yeah, they're all crazy, man. It's nuts. It's nuts. It's the way listen, I'm gonna have to create a podcast just for all that type of stuff so we can talk about all that stuff. But it's crazy. Another Thursday night in the books. Tomorrow is Friday. I hope everyone has a great Friday. Let's start closing it out. If you haven't done so, please consider hitting that like button. Ring that notification bell. Leave a like, leave a comment, so that way I know y'all is here. I appreciate each and every one of you. And if you're watching the replay, drop team replay in the comments. There was a few people on here that are new that couldn't typically watch the show on Tuesday nights because they were busy with prior arrangements or they were live themselves. So I appreciate everyone for being here. If you are interested in the Boats and Bros, send me an email at thenautiCruiser@gmail.com, and I will definitely look into everything for y'all and help y'all get booked. And again, I'm not going to tell females they can't go. Julie, that's directed towards you. So if you're wanting to go, you're more than welcome to go. Other than that, that's pretty much it. So we're going to wrap it up on this Thursday. I appreciate the Blue Crew for doing their thing, holding it down here. No one timed out Cameron, so I guess he didn't get too inappropriate. There's still a few minutes left before I say goodbye, but who knows? Cameron might do something to get in trouble. There's still 12 of us here, so if you're still watching, you're the faithful. I appreciate each and every one of you. Until next time, y'all know what to do. I will see you next Thursday. Same time, same place, same channel, different background. I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all have a great night and stay naughty. Peace.